Hello, welcome to Rebel Base, IGN's weekly Star Wars show.
So here's a little feature I like to call what happens when you let me do the running order.
Okay.
So, could Michael Jackson have saved the Phantom Menace, Daniel?
All right, 32 weeks in, and we're just making shit up.
It's not. It's actually really good. Although your face when I said, well, when you were like, oh, what are we doing for the first bit of the show? I was like, oh, we're going to do Could Michael Jackson Save the Phantom Menace? And you just turned around on your chair.
I was like, fine, I don't want to know anything more about it. So, what is this?
So in an interview with Vice, Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks, said that originally Michael Jackson really wanted to play Jar Jar Binks.
I don't think it's okay to lie about a dead man.
It's not. So basically what happened was Ahmed Best and a bunch of the other cast members and George Lucas were in London at Wembley and went to see Michael Jackson. And do you not know this story?
No.
Okay. And George Lucas is introducing everyone. He goes around and says oh, this is Natalie Portman. This is keeps on going around everyone. And when he gets to Ahmed Best, he goes, and this is Jar Jar Binks. And so Ahmed Best is looking at him going, that's a bit weird. And Michael Jackson goes, oh, okay. And then he's really frosty with him. So Ahmed Best is really sort of put off by this. And later on, when they go out for dinner, he's like, dude, what was up with that? Why did you introduce me as Jar Jar Binks and not my name? And he's like, well, Michael Jackson really wanted to play Jar Jar Binks. So obviously George Lucas is letting Michael Jackson look at scripts for The Phantom Menace before it's even been made, which is, I mean, we'll deal with that another time. But he really wanted
to know if it would appeal to children.
Yeah. He's like,
no, but he thinks like a child.
No, because he'll be like, will kids be into this?
Yeah.
Into this film, I want in it. I want to be in it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he said he really wanted to be in it. So he had all these ideas for how Jar Jar should look, and he wanted to do with all prosthetics because he loves all that, didn't he? Thriller.
Is this what we're basing it on? he loved all that, didn't he? Oh, so, he loved prosthetics.
But that, it's not beyond.
He really loved prosthetics.
Oh. So obviously he has some ideas for the character. So I just thought everyone is, pretty much unanimously decided that Jar Jar Binks is the most hated character in the world. Could Michael Jackson have saved the Phantom Menace? So I got some reasons for and against. Ready?
Okay.
So 4, couldn't be any worse.
That's a terrible first reason why it's better than something else.
Well, I was about to say I had to come up with 3. Didn't have to. I could do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But couldn't be any worse, could it?
Yeah, but surely it's not down to the performance as such.
Well, I mean, it's a lot to do with the performance.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
They're sort of almost half racist Jamaican accent, sort of making fun of Rastafarians.
Michael Jackson might have done that.
He might.
That might have been the direction.
No, he's got a bit more in him, I think.
Okay.
Next, he's acted well in prosthetics before, and he wanted to do in prosthetics, so he's used to that.
It's not acting. Well,
there is acting.
Performing.
No, but there's an acting bit in the Thriller music video. He's acting quite a lot. He's a really good actor. You forget that about Michael Jackson.
He's a good performer. I'm not going to dispute that. He's one of the greatest performers of the 20th century.
But what about when he's in the cinema and stuff like that, and then he turns around and you think he's not a werewolf and it was all a dream, but actually he was a werewolf.
That's true. I actually thought he was a real werewolf.
I was shit scared of that video. I had the little double thing. I've still got it, I think.
I don't think it's as scary as his later work.
Daniel, come on. Also,
yeah.
Jar Jar Binks is the sort of... don't look at it before I tell you, because I don't want to see your disapproving face. Okay. Jar Jar Binks is... the comedic element.
I hope you always see my disapproving face. Okay.
So Jar Jar Binks is the comedic element, so the sort of comic relief in Phantom Menace. Michael Jackson has a sense of humour, and we know this because
when he hangs his baby out a window.
Listen, all right? We know this because he did an amazing cameo in Men in Black 2. Do you remember that?
No. Vaguely, I remember he's in Men in Black 2 as Agent... MJ.
I think he is Agent MJ, possibly Agent M. He's Agent MJ and something else, which come to in the against. But those are my 3 reasons for it. He's actually, when you watch the Men in Black 2 clip, he's actually really funny, and he's good at making fun of himself, and that's why I think he would have been a good Jar Jar
Oh yeah,
Binks.
because they made the joke he's an alien.
That's right. Yeah. Do you like that?
Well,
so those are the reasons.
I wouldn't go so far as
Those are the reasons for Michael Jackson saving Phantom Menace.
And here's the point where you undercut your own argument.
Well, yeah, I don't know. He's also, even though that was a good cameo, Men in Black 2, he's also done some pretty shit cameos as well. So he was in something called Miss Castaway and the Island Girls, which is like a spoof film, almost in the same vein as like Scary Movie, but done just like on a horrible budget. And like, I actually can't believe that it's him in it. And he plays Agent MJ, and I could only find like absolutely disgusting footage, like behind the scenes footage of it, but I honestly can't believe that he's done that. Like, and that's like 2004. So it's pretty,
He had to make some money quick.
Yeah, but
maybe
surely they didn't have that much money for it. I don't know, but it's pretty bad. Jar Jar's in the film quite a lot, so it would actually be Michael Jackson a lot in Phantom Menace, and I think the person that Michael Jackson is, you'd just be drawn to him all the time. Not that he would be dancing around or anything like that, but you know, he's got quite a lot of charisma. I think he's bigger than the film at the end of the day, and you don't want a character that's bigger than the film.
Who's the real Phantom Menace?
Exactly.
Gavin.
Yeah.
Who's the real Phantom?
I mean, he's on the poster, so Michael Jackson would have been on the poster for Phantom Menace. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but in a prosthetic version of that, presumably, because the design would have been independent of the actor.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I think you'd be able to tell that it was Michael Jackson.
Because he would have had that jacket on.
Constantly moonwalking.
Just moonwalking away from battle droids.
How was that?
They're catching us up, are they?
How was that, George? Yeah, it's good. Can we try it without the spinning around grabbing your crotch thing? Is that all right?
Can you say chameau less in this take, please?
Or more, actually.
Misa's fine.
Yeah.
But less chameau.
But not chameau. Okay. And finally then, let's face it, the Phantom Menace is a little bit beyond saving. So could Michael Jackson save the Phantom Menace? Is that too much of a job for one man? One man who's been given that character.
Is it too much to save something for a man who had a messiah complex?
Exactly, yeah. I don't think.
I actually really like Michael Jackson.
I really like Michael Jackson.
I feel like I just made all the like horrible cheap gags. So it's
yeah,
just
you
true.
have.
I have.
I
don't think he should have been Jar Jar Binks ultimately. I don't think that would have been. I think that would have been a weird thing if he'd been. Like, he's such a big star. Even in 1999, he's such a big star.
Yeah.
It would have been.
Too much.
I think it would just underscored everything that people didn't like about Jar Jar. I don't know, like we're talking about Jar Jar, and it's such an easy thing to keep going on about. But I think that's really interesting. He was frosty with him.
Yeah, like they use generally that.
I was born to play this part, mate.
Yeah, and then you took it from me, Ahmed Best.
Yeah,
like. But that's the thing. I think, as you say, it just would have been another thing on the why the Phantom Menace is shit. Like. Thing. It would have been
we
like,
should do a show in a few.
I can't believe Michael Jackson was also in it as Jar Jar Binks.
We should do a show in a few weeks about all the things that we actually like about the Phantom Menace.
Definitely, yeah, because there's definitely a lot.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Awesome. So, in preparation for that, is there anything you like about the Phantom Menace? I've got quite a lot that I like about it, but let us know. rebelbase@ign.com. It's time for another edition of Force Feedback, and not only do I like the name, but Daniel Shombathi, that's not how you pronounce his name, says, I've got a question for your Force Feedback segment. Best name segment in IGN video podcast history, by the way. The people have spoken. Daniel, that name, has spoken. He says, to date, we have not seen the face of Luke Skywalker in front of the camera in any of the promotional footage for The Force Awakens. Do you think this means that Mark Hamill will not be on screen for very long in Episode 7? And would you be disappointed if we only see Luke on screen for a bit, perhaps at the end of the film? Now that's interesting.
It's true.
But I think it's more to do with something has happened to him. He's half robot.
He can still be on camera, even if you're half robot.
Yeah, but in the teasers and stuff, they're not going to reveal.
Yeah, I hope
I
hope he's not done like what he did with like Spock in Star Trek.
Okay.
Just puts him in the cave.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just isolated, and that's why there's little footage of him interacting with other people.
Yeah.
Just because he's isolated, and therefore you wouldn't really cut that into a trailer if it's just shots of him being on his own, maybe.
Yeah.
Then
what shots have we seen of him? We've seen a shot of him like in the sort of volcano-y thing, like there's like lava and stuff.
Oh, we've seen him like the hand,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
assume that is him.
Yeah.
It's got to be his voice is speaking. You would think, but then there's lots of trailers recently when I've gone and seen the actual film. You realise how much stuff is shifted about and taken out of context to make a narrative for the trailer that's independent of the narrative of the movie.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they're rationing this stuff because we've seen later the Star Wars Celebration trailer really turned on seeing Han and Chewie at the end. Maybe they just want to hold one of them back. Now we always knew all three were in it, like for quite a long time, but Maybe when you see him in the movie, it's a big kind of reveal or something, and they don't want to just squander that in a trailer.
Maybe it's because
who he's talking to as well.
Yeah, maybe it's because like his face has gone like almost like he's gone like almost dark. Like the dark side is almost like consuming him. So that's why but there's still enough good in him that he's hidden himself away.
Yeah.
So when you actually see him, his face is all like red and sort of basically like Michael Jackson in Thriller, maybe.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's gone blind. And he's got like cloudy eyes.
I don't think he's going to feature that much, no. That's my answer.
Okay.
There you go.
David Page, he says, we talked about why we thought Ewan McGregor should have another shot at being Obi-Wan Kenobi in a future anthology movie. He says, I 100% believe that McGregor can go back and deserves to go back to the Kenobi role. But if someone else had to play Kenobi, I would be fine with it. Being Ian Glenn from Game of Thrones, I think he would work well as early Ben Kenobi.
Early? He's well old. I don't think that would work.
In between bit.
In between? No.
In between Ben.
What's that based on?
Good, isn't he?
It's based on he's good, isn't he?
Which one's Ian Glenn? He is Ser Jorah Mormon.
Yeah, that's right. And he's got kind of like a Obi-Wan Kenobi-ish role with Khaleesi. So
yeah, I don't think Obi-Wan wanted to sleep with Luke Skywalker.
Didn't he, Daniel?
Who knows?
Didn't he?
Who
Indeed.
knows? I don't want that to be the anthology movie.
Yeah, I hope not.
Ben, what's all these hard drives? No, don't.
Don't look at them. So these last two then, we've had a lot of people sending in, so a thing now has become that people are sending in Photoshop versions of themselves.
Because you asked for it.
But now...
Oh, people are doing this, why are people sending
But now
this?
they're sending in Photoshop versions of us. And like Shaheen Orian sent in a nice one. We're very close in this, I don't think.
It's like we're going to be smooching.
It looks like we're about to be smooching, but then also
I'm so sorry that we asked for people to send this in, because Polis has sent in a Photoshop version of me and you in the gold bikini, and I'm so sorry.
We do look pretty hot in there.
Well, you say, yeah, but what are you basing that on? Carrie Fisher's body?
Yeah, well, it suits us. If our head was on Carrie Fisher's body at that point in time, we would be hot.
Yeah. Well,
there we are.
Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you want to send anything to us,
or if you would like a high-res JPEG of that art,
let us know. rebelbase@ign.com.
Oh, what's that, Gav? Are you reading something?
I was, Daniel. I was just having a look at Star Wars issue 7.
So issue 7 of Star Wars, the ongoing Marvel comic, came out this week, and it's kind of a one-shot. All about what Ben Kenobi's been up to for all those years on Tatooine. So Luke is reading...
Chilling.
What?
He's just been chilling.
Yeah, that's mainly what the comic focuses on. Yeah. So Luke is reading an extract from his diary, and it's clear that it's just one
bit
kind of entry from that diary. And suffice to say, we're going to go into spoilers, so if you haven't read it and you're really concerned about what happens, probably watch this later on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a little self-contained story about how he realizes maybe that he can't just stay in hiding. That's how I read the end of the story anyway.
I think so, yeah. I think it starts off with him sort of, he's on Tatooine, he's protecting Luke. That's mainly what he's doing.
Like from time to time and just trying to make a living.
No, I think it seems like it's his full-time thing.
Yeah.
Like he's just in hiding, constantly...
It's like checking in on him.
Yeah, checking in on Luke, but also like trying not to get involved in sort of like the little fights, and like basically what's happened is the Hutts have pretty much just taken over Tatooine, and you know there's a lot of bad dudes going around collecting this water tax and basically just pushing people around.
Well, racketeering, aren't they, basically?
And just making people's lives really, really miserable.
So I think it opens with lots of really cool imagery of this man who you know is immensely powerful, but he's like shrouded. It's like the man with no name. It's almost like a Western thing. They really play that up in some of the panels.
Cool,
and he's just walking through this dusty town.
Yeah.
And he sees all this horrible stuff going on around him, people being exploited, people being harassed, and he does nothing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't intercede because he knows he can't, because he'll expose himself, being General Kenobi. And he just, like a lot of the book is just introspection, which I actually quite like.
Well, it's a diary, isn't it? So it's, you know, a lot of him just thinking. And
you see him
like
meditating as well, and he kind of questions himself. He questions his training. He questions Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And one of my favourite line in the book is when he talks about, "You trained me for lots of things, Master, but you never trained me to be this.
Yeah.
You never trained me to be passive."
Yeah. I think, it's a great line. It's like, you never taught me how to fade away.
Yeah.
See, to me, though, we sort of slightly disagree on this. That suggests to me that he's almost like given up.
I think it's born out of necessity in the times that he's one man.
Yeah.
It shows greater wisdom to do that and protect this young kid who can one day lead a new Jedi Order, rather than expose yourself, get yourself killed, and then leave this child unprotected. I almost think, because if you look way back to Phantom Menace, he ends up killing Darth Maul, but he's really headstrong in that film. And he almost has to curb that in the subsequent 2 movies. And again,
which he does, he learns from that.
And he tries to, but he almost like he's learned from that incident, and now completely alone, he's still, even later on in his life, curbing those tendencies.
Yeah. For me, so far, this is the best, out of the Star Wars comics we've seen, is the best depiction of the Force. Like actually the Force in action sort of thing, because there's a couple of like sort of panels where he takes on these sort of marauders who have been like just causing people misery, but he does it in a way that's really, really subtle, and you can be like, things happen and you're like, oh, it's because Ben's in the background, they're using the Force. Like, and then when so Luke comes to try and sort of steal the water back from these guys, and he gets caught in a sort of little fracas with them, and you see them just get their asses kicked by him, but you never see him actually doing it.
Yeah,
and I think we haven't really seen that in the Star Wars comics yet, like actual awesome depictions of the Force.
Well, I think that's cool, because you think about the Force, it's a way to be passively active.
Yeah.
So it kind of suits what he's doing, because he's not getting embroiled in it. He's not using a lightsaber. The lightsaber makes appearance right at the end of the comic. He's trying to intercede in ways that are invisible. Yeah. So he uses it subtly throughout the comic, and then towards the end of the story, he has to use it in a more extravagant way, and he's like, crap, I've exposed myself. So if you use it in a way that can't be dismissed as, oh, a gust of wind, you know, something ridiculous, or fate and circumstance. He's exposed himself, he's played his hand.
That's right.
So I wonder where that's going to go, because it almost suggests the fact at the end he ignites the lightsaber alone, that he's going to start being more active and doing missions behind the scenes.
Yeah, maybe.
So I wonder if there's scope for that still to be explored, because obviously these comics are in canon.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether there's rumours we spoke about last week that they might do a Kenobi film, and how we'd be really happy to see Ewan McGregor return to that role.
It would be really good,
So it does feel like there is scope, and there's the fact that he left Luke this diary. Yeah. That he said in the preface, it's almost a bit like found footage, found manuscript, which is obviously an old trope, a narrative trope. That this is just one of many adventures.
That's right.
And I would like the idea that Luke found this. He says like he intentionally left it somewhere Luke would find it. Yeah. And so basically, because Luke didn't really have a mentor for that long. Now in the stripped back universe. Yeah. So it's almost this like book that he turns to. Quite like that idea. Yeah. And it'd be really cool. Imagine if they had a framing narrative for a new anthology movie where Mark Hamill's still reading it in his old age.
That's actually a really good idea.
And it flashes back.
Yeah. I want that. Yeah. That'd be really good. Oh, I really liked it though. I think it's a really good comic. It's got a cool little ending to it. And it's just a nice sort of segue from the sort of thing that Aaron and Bianca have been doing, sort of thing.
The bigger stuff.
Yeah.
Which is going to, actually, we should, we'll talk about it more maybe in a future episode, but it's going to be the first Star Wars comic crossover event. Oh, really? Where Aaron's Star Wars is going to collide with Kieran Gillen's Vader for a big, little kind of mini crossover event. Very cool. But yeah, that's what we think of the Kenobi one-shot issue 7 of Star Wars. If you read it, you read in the comics, let us know what you think. rebelbaseigen.com. And until next week, for everything on Star Wars, stay right here on IGN.